All right, day number 5 of my 7-day language learning experiment, in which I'm trying to learn as much Swedish as I can in 7 days. And I've got some news. I've been thinking about it. I've been doing a lot of learning the last few days. I always do a lot of language learning, but especially the last few days, I've been obsessively learning Swedish. And I've also been uploading other videos talking about other subjects like immersion, vocabulary, this and that. Um, and I've been thinking about this uh, immersion and input specifically. And I realized that I'm kind of getting bored of input in Swedish, mostly because I really enjoy doing input in most of the languages that I learn, but I can't really find anything that all that interesting in Swedish podcasts or YouTube channels to watch, anything like that. And after a while, reading and listening to the same mini stories over and over again, it's getting really boring, honestly. Um, it works, I still do it, but I'm not enjoying it much anymore. And I've been thinking, what if I tried learning a language? I'm not going to do it with Swedish because I'm already halfway, more than halfway, I'm almost done with the experiment. But um, with the next one, I'm going to try this. What if I try to learn a language from scratch with no input? What if I simply memorize massive amounts of vocabulary, do listening and repeating drills, memorize sentences with the language islands, translate into the language, use retrieval practice, and learn thousands of words and thousands of sentences with memorization, listening, repeating, and retrieval. How different would that be? And I think right now it sounds like torture, right? But apparently there are people who do things like watch a film 50 times and they actually do it. So memorizing hundreds of words a day right now is not as boring for me with associations as doing input, reading and listening the same mini stories over and over again. Because I'm just sick and tired of Mike wakes up at 6 o'clock, takes his car, drives to work, he's a cook in a. I've seen the same stories um, in over 20 languages, I guess. And this is good in the sense that it's very effective. I already know what's going to happen, and it helps me learn the vocabulary and the grammar much faster. But also, it's boring as hell, and I think it's time to try something new. So with the next language, which I still haven't decided which one is going to be, I'm just going to memorize lots of vocab, high frequency vocabulary, and then least frequent vocabulary, uh, long list of verbs, and then thousands of sentences for all scenarios. Just drill the sentences, lots of listening, repeating, and retrieval practice. And I think I'm going to start with that next week. I'm a little bit like that. I've got a severe case of ADHD, and before I'm finished with one project, I'm already thinking of the next. So I think I'm gonna do that. And I'm probably also I've been thinking about this a lot. We've been talking about accents a lot, pronunciation, accents, and there are people who say that it doesn't matter. You should keep your accent. You shouldn't care about pronunciation. Blah blah blah. I'm the complete opposite. I'm really interested in accents. I really like different accents. What does Swiss German sound like? What does um, English from Liverpool sound like? And so on and so forth. And yeah, so I'm thinking of what if I work on my English accent and try to learn an accent from somewhere else, like American or maybe even Australian, or Liverpool. That'd be fun as well. Although it's going to be hard to. I guess I could watch some Guy Ritchie movies, right? But anyway, I digress. Yeah, when it comes to Swedish, I'm already looking forward to finishing this and starting the next thing. That's the way I am. But results, I think I'm slowing down a little bit just because I'm bored. So I'm going to continue with the input, but I'm going to do less of it. And I'm going to focus on output, listening and repeating, and language islands. Memorize hundreds, if not thousands, of sentences, listening and repeating, reading aloud, and retrieval. So read them in English, try to say them in Spanish. Oh, no, sorry, not in Spanish. Uh, try to say them in Swedish. In Spanish, it'd be way too easy, right? And try to learn as many of them as possible so that then at the end of the week I can speak as much as possible. That's what I'm going to do. I've been memorizing vocab and I've been doing the reps, the listening and the reading with the mini stories. That honestly, I'm just sick and tired of doing that, and I can't really find all that much in terms of interesting content. And I think, what the hell? I think I'm a big believer in input, but it might be really interesting to try and learn without any input. No listening to podcasts, no mini stories, no asking me a book, no nothing. Just memorize vocab, listen and repeating drills, and language islands. Memorize hundreds of sentences, and that's it. And see how that works. I'm gonna try that next week. But for now, continue with the Swedish. No new exercises today. Yesterday I added the language islands. I started with the language islands. I continue with those. The previous day I started with the listening and repeating drills for pronunciation. I'm working on those as well. And of course, memorize vocabulary and more input for comprehension. But I'm going to drop the inputs from now on and see what happens. I don't know if it will affect my Swedish much because I already did a lot of input. But whatever language I choose next time, it's going to be interesting. Anyway, yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be as helpful as possible. And see you tomorrow with more Swedish.